Welcome again to my channel. Today we're going to talk about, again, something related to modern football, modern soccer. Why regaining possession is a result of good positional play. This is something that I thought about when I was reading an article in a Spanish author, Martín Perarnau, and he was talking about an interview where Guardiola talked about this. And I think it is in the same line as we talked in the last video of why and the importance it has the positional play in being able to press, being able to regain the ball quickly, being able to play in modern football, because it's really has changed not only the training but the way we see football nowadays. It has changed totally. So beforehand, many years ago, when I used to play, when I just started coaching over 20 years ago, the main idea and the old paradigm was that after losing the ball, immediately we would retreat to low block or near our own box. Okay, so we would lose the ball and go back, move back. Okay, retreat. Okay, in Spanish we call it repliegue. Okay, teams would attack without realizing how they would attack. And after losing the ball, they would run back in the majority of the cases to low block, okay? So this was a normal trend that you would see in almost every league in Europe, in South America, in Asia, and Africa. We would see this behavior, and it was very common to see it, okay? Because training and football itself was seen as parts, okay? Separated one from each other, okay? And so this started changing, especially when Guardiola and the Barcelona philosophy started having more influence each time, okay? And we began to see different behavior of many teams, especially these teams, where we're going to describe what are the main differences. But the main one, the first one, and the most important one is seeing football as a whole, not just separated by parts. So when you're attacking, you're already thinking, you're already acting like if you're going to lose it, okay? So your team is preparing, okay, to press again immediately after losing the ball, after losing possession of the ball. And this, the Germans have created a methodology which is called gegenpressing, okay, where the coach that made it famous is Jurgen Klopp. But really, and also we have an American coach who's now in Leeds, who also works or trains or uses a methodology based on gegenpressing in Leeds, okay, which is Jesse Marsh, okay. But the main father, the main creator of this was Ralph Rangnick, okay. And the main idea is that they saw through big data, through analytics, that after losing the ball, most goals would come immediately after regaining quickly the ball. So if they would lose the ball, regain possession and quickly attack, because in this moment is when teams, after losing the ball, after gaining the ball, they start opening up. So if you gain the ball back very quickly and finish the play before 4 seconds, your percentages of scoring will be very high. Okay? So this is the reason why gegenpressing became fashionable or became being used in Premier League. You have Leeds, you have Southampton. Guggendil, also an Austrian coach, also uses something similar. And of course, Klopp uses this a lot, but also he uses a lot of positional play also at the same time. Okay, he has in his coaching staff several coaches from Portugal, which they use tacticalization. Okay. Why would Guardiola say we have defended well? Because we attacked correctly, okay? And basically what he meant is that if you attack, we call in Spanish viajar juntos, which is a principle that was created by Johan Cruyff in Barcelona, and it's used in Spanish methodology, which means to travel together. And this basically focuses on your team is going to travel all together with possession of the ball. It's going to reorganize with the ball, okay, and travel through small passes, short passes, okay, so that they're all together, and if they lose the ball, they would try to gain the ball back before 6 seconds. Okay, this was the 6-second rule that Guardiola used to use many years ago. Okay, and when we are able to see the game as a whole, when we're able to see the game as one, okay, when you're attacking, you're thinking of defending. When you're defending, you're thinking of attacking. Okay, and you train this over and over again through different methodology tools that we have, like rondos, possessions, positional games, okay, games with constraints, okay, always in the pitch, always with game context, okay, you are going to be able to see this in your team, okay, but you have to, of course, create the context where these behaviors are done over and over preconsciously, okay. So being able to see the game as a whole, you're preparing your team, okay, when they're attacking, okay, how are they going to react? What are they going to do if they lose the ball? Not just attack, okay? So you're thinking of attacking, okay, you might have a principle or a concept that you are focused on. For example, I don't know, attack from one lane and attack to another, or you know, overload in one lane, or you know, try to focus on the half spaces. You know, you can use whatever concept or principle or micro principle that you would focus on, right? But the main idea also is that you're immediately, after you lose the ball, immediately your team shifts into pressure mode, because you're going to try to steal the ball very quickly close to the opponent's goal. And after you lose the ball, after you gain the ball, regain the ball, your team regains the ball, okay, they have to discriminate between either a counter attack very quickly, where you're going to look for depth, okay, and with few passes and very direct passes, you're going to try to finish the play, or reorganize with the ball in offense organization, and through many passes, you're going to progress and create another situation where your team is with good positional play, so that if they lose the ball, they can press again, or they can create scoring chances, okay? Okay, getting organized with the ball. So when needed, having enough patience in case we regain possession near opponent's goal, thanks to our good positional play, to reorganize effectively, very quickly, and again, attack opponent positionally, okay? Okay, and this is why Spanish or Barcelona style of football, many people confusedly misled, calling it, for example, tiki-taka, or, you know, and really it has nothing to do with it, actually. It really has more to do with the effectiveness of how you're going to attack, okay? So if you attack with many players with a block, it's going to be much easier for your team to regain the ball in offensive sectors, okay, near the opponent's goal. So you're going to be closer to the opponent's goal to either start again a quick transition, or reorganize again with the ball in offense organization. So this is the main idea, not just because it looks nice, not because of aesthetic reasons, okay? Although you might like them, and your team or your club will maybe likes them, or your fans, whatever, but it has really nothing to do with this. It has more to do with having more chances to win, actually. This is the real reason, not aesthetic reasons, okay? Okay, so the main, one of the big things that you have to focus on also in the defenders is that when you defend, your defenders will stretch back, they will step back to give more, make the angles of the passes to whoever has the ball on the sidelines, especially, or in the middle where there's traffic, to give them more space. Okay, so your team has more support in the back. Okay, and when your team loses the ball, they will have to step up. Okay, and always reduce the space, and also the goalkeeper, very important, will also step up out of the box, and always on the strong side where the ball is, right? The side where the ball is, they will play as the last man, okay? So basically, you have to also train this a lot, okay? If your team gains the ball, they would stretch, okay? In case one of your teammates is pressured, they always have support in the back, okay, so they can play back. And if they lose the ball, immediately reduce space, okay? Throw the offside trap, okay? Defend on a line, okay, on a straight line, and try to cut down the lanes where they can get inside passes, okay? So this is where you're going to focus on these things once your team loses the ball, okay? Once it regains it, again, you open up, you stretch, the defender stretch, and again, okay? There are many principles or many concepts regarding this, but just mentioning some of them, okay? Okay, how are we going to train this, okay? And basically, like the videos that I played before on my channel, okay, the rondos is a very important tool. You have many areas or many grades or many steps that you have to focus on this, okay? One of them is the attitude, the change of attitude when you lose the ball, when you gain it. So on this, you're going to focus a lot on those type of rondos, okay, where they're continuous, okay, when there's a global exercise where they change constantly from attack to defense, defense to attack, okay. Then you can focus more on the details, okay, on how you're going to press with the front foot or whatever, okay. What are you going to try to do if you break the press, or how are you going to break the press, or if you're defending, what you're supposed to do so they don't break the press. You know, all these things that you will focus on the rondos. Apart from rondos, of course, all the individual technique that it has. For example, the control, the pass, the movement, how to break free from the defender, how to move to the space, how to see the space, when to move, you know, all these things, when to be positioned or when not, okay? So all these things you're going to focus on rondos, right? But apart from that, also you're going to work on these things, you know, regarding pressure, regarding getting the ball out of pressure, not getting the ball out of pressure, okay? So create always situations where you have this, okay? Okay, and the first exercise is just a very simple 3v3 inside. Whoever has the ball is going to play 5v3, okay? Both support players, target players are on one side, okay? So if the red are going to play 5v3, if they have the two supports, the one on top and one on the bottom, and the blues, the one on the left and the one on the right will play 5v3, okay? This is another pressure rondos of 5 teams of 4 players, okay? And after 4 or 5 passes, they change. The 2 players in the middle change with the other 2 that are pressing, okay? So they change constantly so they don't, you know, they can rest and the press will be more effective. If the ball is stolen, it will be changed immediately. And again, change teams again, 2 pressing, 2 waiting. You can create a 4v3 also, you can create a 4v1, however you want, okay? Just formats where you guys can work these things, you know, getting the ball out of pressure, not getting the ball out of pressure, changing from attack to defense, changing from defense to attack. Same situation here, rondo, which I've been using for many, many years. You can use it also in structure, okay? So in the system that you're using, okay? When the team gains the ball in the middle, they have to get the ball out of pressure, and we jump into a 6v4, 7v4, depending on how many players you want to use. It could be 7v5 also. And you can add goals also at the same time, okay, if you want, okay? And also you can add a regaining possession of ball again, the red team trying to get the ball in the square again, and we start again. So you can make it continuous all the time. Same example, okay? Same example, but now changing space from one side to the other. After a certain amount of passes, we can change space to the other space. And if we get the ball, lose the ball and regain the other team, change sides again. Okay, get the ball out of pressure and change space. Okay, so finding similarities to the game itself. Okay, and always creating a situation where they're going to do things that creating context that will help you in the matches so they understand the game. Okay. Positional games and exercises in big spaces. Okay, so we're going to use the same thing. Now we're going to focus before, as I said, we will focus on more the change of moment and the mental attitude, okay, of attack to defense, defense to attack. Now we're going to focus more on organizational, okay? So after you change, how are you going to organize? When will you disorganize? How you will disorganize your team and reorganize again, okay? So you have to work, these aspects, okay? So in the first one, it's a positional exercise, okay, where they're going to move, but inside the space, they're not going to leave their space free, okay? And after a certain amount of passes, team will pass to the other side. And again, it will always be a 6v4 with 2 waiting in the middle, closing down the spaces, okay? Or you can make it 3+3 also. Like you can leave 3 pressing and 3 waiting in the middle, closing the lanes for the passes, okay? And if the team steals the ball, for example, in this case, the blue team, the team that loses it has to quickly go press 2 or 3 players in that space, 2 or 3 players cutting the lane in the middle, okay? And the other team has to reorganize very quickly according to where they are located, okay? So they have to be looking at each other constantly and reorganizing very quickly, okay? And this will help you in the matches for them to quickly mentally reorganize, okay? There you see again for pressing, okay? If you see, it's more or less a structure of 1-4-3-3, although at the end you have 2 players, okay? But this is because there are 3 teams of 6, okay? And it's always a situation, okay? After a certain amount of passes, we change to the other side, and another team presses, okay? Then we have another one similar, okay? 6v6 with 4 support, okay, with 4 jokers, okay, with 4 target players, okay, same thing, okay, same idea, okay. We're gonna play positional exercise where if they lose the ball, they have to quickly reorganize and reduce the space. In this case, the other team opens up and occupies the position they're supposed to, okay. Always trying to use the structure or the system that we're going to use. Similar space, but now bigger space, similar exercise, more positional exercise, possession, right? Same thing, one team pressing or one team trying to gain the ball, okay? If they lose it, immediately reduce the space. The other team keep possession, okay? Once they gain it back, again, we make the space longer, we stretch the space, as in Spanish, tirar el espacio, and again, we're gonna have possession again. So always, you know, these situations where we're going to play around with the main concepts that we're trying to work on, okay? And remember, a possession football is not for the immediate result. Having possession, more possession in a match really does not mean anything. Does not mean that you're going to win the match. But in long periods of time, like in long tournaments, normally the teams that win championships are the ones that have the most possession, because this allows you to have more shots on goal, so it'll give you a higher probability of winning the tournament. Okay, so if you look at all the most of the leagues, right, and even in teams that play counter-attacking football, like for example Atletico Madrid, you're going to see that when they play Real Madrid, Barcelona, or in the Champions League with a big club, they will play counter-attack. But when they play smaller clubs in the local league in Spain, they will not play counter-attack. They will have more possession than the opponent sometimes. So it's very relative of the possession. You have to really study it, you know, in detail. But normally the main idea is that, according to big data analytics, is that teams that have the most possession normally are the ones who win most championships. And if you look at the top leagues, you're going to see that this is quite accurate. Okay, same thing. We're going to create the last exercise, a situation where the blue team loses the ball and immediately tries to press, okay, regain the ball very quickly, okay. Once they do that, okay, you can give them certain information, whether they have to reorganize offensively or look for a quick transition before, you know, within 4 passes, okay, for example. So they have to finish the play in less than 4 passes. You will look for depth, for transition, okay, very quickly play forward, or if you're going to look for reorganize. So this is going to give you organizational information regarding whether the players will discriminate, your team will discriminate when it is an offensive transition and when if it's offensive organization, okay? And of course, you have to put rules or create rules where your team has to at least give 9 or 10 passes before attacking or before scoring. Because if you don't, they will always look for depth, you know? They will always look to attack very quickly. So sometimes you have to make them go and finish the play very quickly before, you know, under 5 passes. And in other situations, you have to make them at least give 9 or 10 passes before scoring the goal. So you make them slow down the rhythm, okay, see what lanes or channels you're going to attack, and then the information according to your model, what you're going to tell them, what you're going to give them, okay? Summarizing, okay, the first thing, seeing the game as a whole, not as parts separated one from each other, okay? So this is the main thing, a systemic point of view, okay? We're going to focus on football, soccer as a systemic game, okay, where everything has an influence on everything, okay, and as Professor Fayez says, the whole is more or less the sum of its parts, okay, and where we're going to focus constantly on these aspects, not only, of course, individual technique like passing, control, shooting, heading, tackling, whatever, the entrance, the covers, all these things, but also we're going to focus on tactical things, okay? We are not going to train and play this way because of aesthetic reasons, but because it's more effective. It's going to give us more chances to win. So the Spanish old model that we use in Spain for the last 30 years is not based on aesthetic reasons, but rather on effectiveness, okay? So they found out, or they noticed that you can be more effective playing this way, like for example, the Manchester City does it with Guardiola, than playing a different way. This is the main reason, not of aesthetic reasons. Now, one coach or one fan may like one style or the other. That's totally personal, okay? That's subjective, okay? But the main reason is this, In rondos, we will focus on mental and attitude aspects as pressure immediately or regaining the possession in the least amount of time, for example, okay, or not losing the ball immediately. So when you're going to focus on the rondos, you have to work this a lot and make sure that the rondos are not cut, because I have seen this, especially here in my country, where coaches or physical trainers cut the rondos, okay? For example, one team gains possession and it finishes. They blow the whistle. No. Make them understand that this changing of possession is going to be, the dynamic in football is constant. So make the situation go over and over and over again. Of course, how long the exercise will last. But if it lasts 3 minutes, if it lasts 3 minutes and a half, don't cut it before that. Let the situations, the change of possession, let them get used to that, because mentally they will get very quickly be used to the change, okay? In positional games, focus on organization and reorganization offensively and defensively, respectively. So first we're going to focus on the mental aspects of the change, and then we're going to focus on things regarding the organization and reorganization, okay? When we attack, our defenders step up forward or step back when we defend, okay? When we attack, our defenders this is a mistake. When we attack, our defenders step back, okay? And when we defend, they step up, okay? I mixed it up here. So when we're going to attack, the defenders are going to drop back. So you stretch the line. So whoever has the ball always has support. We're always going to try to have support, at least one player in the back, one player in the front, one on the left, and one on the right. If we have that, that will be very, very, very productive, okay? So when our defenders, when we have the ball, they have to stretch the line back, step back. When we lose the ball, step up, which is the opposite of what we used to do many years ago. In tasks in big spaces or macro principles, we will create rules where attacking team must do at least 8 or 9 passes before attacking to avoid transition or fast attacking situations. So the team organizes with the ball, okay? So you're gonna have to create tasks or exercises where they steal the ball and they try to finish very quickly, and you're going to have to create exercises where they rob the ball, they steal the ball, and they're going to have to organize with the ball with many passes, okay? So always work all these types of situations, okay? We look to organize ourselves in possession of the ball so we can travel together as a block with the team all together with good positional play, so that if we lose the ball, we can press immediately and regain possession, okay? So always thinking of this, always thinking of losing the ball when you're attacking or gaining the ball when you're defending. I gave an example in the Spanish version where my national team many years ago, Uruguay, they would press, or they would defend, with a lot of concentration of players in the active zone, in the strong zone of the ball. But the problem is that when they would gain the ball immediately, but they would lose it immediately because there was no organization after regaining the ball, reorganization. So this is very important also, because in this case, Spain was playing for that. So they would wait until they lose the ball, they would press immediately, they would gain the ball, and they would attack when create danger. So this is what gegenpressing is. So they already knew this. So they will play to this, you know. So you have to be very careful of with all these things, because nowadays these concepts are very well known. Okay, so I hope you liked the video. Please let me know if you have any observations or any questions. Don't forget, if you haven't subscribed already, to subscribe, to like, to share, okay, or comment. And I hope to see you again. I hope you enjoy the videos. Take care. Bye bye.